Hello, my name is Charlie Stewart, and I'm going to be speaking to you about hypertension, the signs, symptoms, diagnosis, and the treatment of. Most of us in America today know of hypertension as a silent killer. As a matter of fact, there are 1 in 3 people that will be diagnosed as having hypertension. And the reason that I know that is because I am one of those 3 people, the 30%. I was diagnosed probably around March of 2015. What happened was one day, I don't know, I just woke up in my body. I was just feeling lightheaded, dizzy. I kind of had a pain in my back and in my chest. And so I went to the doctor and they ran some tests and they were, of course, took my blood pressure and it came back that I had hypertension. And so at that moment in time, they put me on medication and I've been taking that medication ever since. And just to let you know that there is a family history. There are people in my family that have this silent killer. So my thing is to just let you also know that if there is someone in your family that has hypertension, that you should have yourself regularly checked uh, for hypertension. Um, there are 2 types of hypertension. There's the first one, which is essential, which is the most common type. It is usually from your lifestyle, the things that you eat. Like I said, it could be from genetics. It could come from someone in your family. Um, and all those factors play a role in you developing hypertension. The second type of hypertension is called secondary hypertension. Now, that type of hypertension is not so common. It is actually pretty much developed from maybe another cause. Maybe if you have like a kidney disease, or if you're uh, taking like over the counter, you take a lot of over the counter medicines for cough. Those things can have an effect on your blood pressure and cause it to rise, cause you to have hypertension. Uh, while hypertension is widely known and its symptoms are not, there are no symptoms of hypertension. So the reason that I knew that something was wrong with my body was telling me something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was. So there are basically no symptoms of this disease. Um, it's not known. The symptoms are not known, and it is important to know. It's important to know the causes, the diagnosis, and the treatment of it. And as I said before, the symptoms. Um, they're unknown, but there are some things that you can look out for that may help you in determining if you may have hypertension. And some of those things could be like a severe headache. According to WebMD, they could be a severe headache, fatigue, confusion, vision problems, chest pain, difficulty breathing, irregular heartbeat, blood in the urine, and pounding in the chest, neck, or ears. And I've had headaches. I had headaches before, on and off, that were pretty severe, and like I said, I just pretty much ignored it. But it had gotten to the point to where I just couldn't ignore what my body was telling me. And so, some of the causes, according to WebMD Online, of essential hypertension, which is mainly due to your family history or your lifestyle, could be stress, and stress could come from several things. It could be from on the job, it could be from family, it could be other issues in your life that you're dealing with. Smoking, of course, smoking is bad for you. Smoking is one of the causes of essential hypertension. Obesity, if you're overweight, that could be one of the things. And as I said before, genetics, it could be something that maybe your dad or your mom or maybe your grandfather or grandmother had that passed it down to you. Your poor diet, if you're not eating the right things, if you're not feeding your body the right things, it could cause if you're eating too much salt, you have to limit your salt intake. You have to learn to start exercising regularly. These are all some of the things that I had to make a change with also in my life. Uh, the causes of secondary hypertension: kidney disease, birth control pills. That's something that usually that could affect women. Over-the-counter cold remedies. Like I said, those things can contribute to you developing hypertension. Diagnosis, according to WebMD, we should be having regular health screenings to monitor our blood pressure. We should be what we need to do is get a regular primary care physician. That is important because by having a regular primary physician, he's able to chart down and keep track of every time that you come, and he's able to put you, if you need medication, he puts you on the medication, and he's able to develop a plan to help you fight and overcome hypertension. And some things that can be helped diagnose it is there are several tests, such as an EKG or an electrocardiogram. That is a test that measures the electrical activity, rate, and rhythm of your heartbeat via electrodes attached to your arms, legs, and chest. They put you on this treadmill and they have you running for a certain amount of time. They'll have you, what they do, they'll start you off your walk, and then they'll increase the intensity over time. And that test, it gives them, it prints it out on a piece of graph paper of the activity of your heart, and it lets them know if there's something wrong or if your heart is okay. There's another test called an echocardiogram, and that test uses ultrasound waves to provide pictures of the heart's valves and chambers so the pumping action of the heart can be studied and the measurements of the chambers and walls, thickness of the heart can be made. That test uses basically like ultrasound, and I've had that done. They take the little gel and they'll put it on your neck, and they can look in the arteries, they can look in your chest at the heart and see how it functions. So those tests are very important in determining whether or not if your hypertension is severe or if it's borderline, and they can go from there and map out a plan on how to treat the type of hypertension that you have. Treatment, according to the Mayo Clinic, healthy lifestyle change. That is number one. That is necessary. You have to change your diet. If you're not eating healthy, you have to change the way you eat. You have to at least exercise 3 days a week, at least 30 minutes per session. Medications. I don't like taking medicine myself, but medications are essential in fighting hypertension. Okay, so your doctor can help you develop a plan for fighting hypertension by placing you on the proper medication for you. And once again, your primary care physician is essential in helping you fight this thing called hypertension. And in conclusion, we've covered the symptoms, which basically there are none. But if you're having headaches, if you're having difficulty breathing, if you're having chest pains, I suggest that you go seek medical attention. The causes of it, stress, smoking, obesity, what you're eating, what you're putting in your body. You kind of have to watch that. If you're smoking, my suggestion is to let it go. Stop. And if you're stressing, let it go. The diagnosis, go see your doctor. Go see a doctor. If you're having issues, go get yourself checked. Have regular screenings. If you're not under primary care physicians, try to at least go and have regular screenings to have your blood pressure monitored. The treatment of it, if you find that you do have hypertension, please take your medicine. Take your medicine and exercise. Those things are important in the fight against hypertension. In concluding, although hypertension has no signs or symptoms, you have your blood pressure checked. You must have your blood pressure